Oh, hello. How's it going, people? Welcome to the stream. Welcome. The 3rd of March is here live right now. And yeah, people, we are in a very interesting situation with Arsenal. Of course, we are playing again midweek games, which is not ideal, but hey, we go with the flow. Arsenal have no time for the rest. Let's be real. We are playing in 4 competitions still. And we must manage. We must manage with injuries, without injuries, with everything that is going on. Arsenal must manage. So, today we're going to talk about Brighton because Arsenal versus Brighton is the next game for Arsenal. We are playing them tomorrow. Tomorrow's 7:30 p.m. kickoff. Let's see what is what, where this brings us. But for Arsenal, another test, another final, no room for error, and every single player must step up. Especially after what we saw against Chelsea, every single player must step up. They must improve. They must prove that they are title worthy. Let's just put it that way, because overall, the performance was not great against Chelsea. It was very lackluster, very disappointing, and I'm not gonna lie, it's very hard to imagine that we're gonna get worse. We just must get better. Let's be real. We must be better. There is no in what buts or maybes about that. We must go up, and this is gonna be a tough one. Brighton is one of those teams that, to a degree, you never know who you're gonna get, what type of Brighton you're gonna get, because on any given day, Brighton can beat anyone. And unfortunately, Arsenal have been in that spot where they have beaten us. We have drawn with them as well, and it has been painful. Let's be real. So we're going to talk about all that. So people, smash the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe if you are new around here. And of course, don't forget to leave your thoughts down in the live chat so we can tackle them, we can discuss them, and we can go from there. And what we're going to kick things off in general about Arsenal today is, well, nothing good. Let's just put it that way. Nothing good to a degree, because how to say this now? There are some good news, obviously. Rice apparently is going to be fit. Rice is going to be fit for the Brighton game. Whether he's going to play or not remains to be seen. But if Mikel Arteta in press conference admits and says openly that he is fit for Brighton game, you can expect him to start, which is great news for Arsenal, which is great news in general. Is it great news overall, as I like, for the whole course of the season? Genuinely, I have no idea, because the fact that he already asked himself to be substituted off just shows that there is something to it. And the more he plays, the higher the intensity is, the bigger are the chances that he might get a longer term injury. Because when Arteta got asked about is he's going to be fit to play Brighton, he said, I hope so. He was much better today, obviously today in the training, in the tests and everything. Hopefully he's going to be even better tomorrow. That's what Arteta said. And from that, you could look at it and say that he feels pretty optimistic about the fact that Declan Rice is going to play against Brighton. Again, as I said, it's going to be a risk no matter how you look at it. Even if he plays, if he's only even 90% ready, even if he plays, it's going to be a risk. Let's just put it that way. Big up Dr. Seymour. Big up the Dr. Buttman. Big up. Hope you're doing well. And big up Andre as well. This feels like a trap game. It feels like a trap game. This Brighton fixture always... This is one of those games that if Arsenal would drop points, this game would be one of those games where Arsenal actually do it. Let's be real, because it's in Arsenal's DNA to a degree to basically rise up, step up, and be good against the big teams. Those are not our issues. Let's be real. Our issues are these teams who are Brightons, Fulhams, Bournemouths, and all these teams. Even Wolves this season, we have seen it wasn't easy. So those are the teams we need to wake up and shape up and be ready for. Because if we look in general at Arsenal's schedule, so to speak, we have few big games only. Rest of the games Arsenal have this season are games that, as Andre, you're saying, are trap games. Because against Brighton, feels like a trap game. Mansfield, we should be beating Leverkusen as well. Then Everton at home, we tend to do well against Everton at home, so that should not be an issue. Bournemouth could be a trap game, even though they are not in the best of forms. Newcastle, obviously, and Man City in the league. Those are the two big ones, which I fully expect Arsenal to be, well, mentally and prepared to a degree, right? Then Fulham at home. It's going to be rough. It's going to be interesting. West Ham away. We tend to beat West Ham away most of the time. So hopefully they have nothing to fight for. Hopefully they have secured the way to stay up, but it's very unlikely. They are on that brink. They are still playing catch up, and it could be another trap game. Burnley as well, and Crystal Palace. It just goes without saying. It could be a big issue. Let's just put it that way. Big up, Aussie Ange. Big up. Good evening. Can you believe TV have come out and say that there are no players from Man City, PSG would get in this Arsenal team? In which universe is that a thing? Who even has said that? Who did say that? Because if I look at those two teams, PSG and Manchester City, I can count numerous players who would be good enough to get in this Arsenal team. In the main 11, by the way, not just the bench, in the main 11. Because there is, on top of my head, let's be real, there's Cherki, there's Donnarumma, I would say Rodri as well, like just to name a few, Semenyo. Then we can look at Haaland, goes without saying. Then we can look at PSG. There's Desiree Doué, there is Ousmane Dembele, there is Vitinha, there is João Neves, there is Hakimi, there is Nuno Mendes. Like, there are quite a lot, to say the least. And just to make some sort of a statement like that, it's actually insane. Genuinely insane. In which universe does that make any sense? Man City are capable of just winning 1-0 every single game. They know how to get results when it matters. Exactly. That is one big thing, especially with signing Gehi in January. Their defense and the gameplay in general with Gehi and Semenyo, right? But mostly Gehi, just for the defense aspect of the game, has become much more solid, much more. It has more shape, and it has more resilience, and it has more structure. Let's just put it that way. In the attack, for Man City, attack more or less has never been an issue. Let's be real. Let's say it as it is. And adding Semenyo to that, with Doku's injury, with sometimes Marmoush struggling, sometimes Haaland not scoring and everything, it was just adding fuel to the fire. And they have done an excellent job in just those two signings completely. It feels like only two, but it has revamped the team to a degree. And Arsenal credit Tavares from throwing games away. Yeah, exactly. Mikel Arteta has set up for a draw numerous times. Or in other words, not losing a game when we basically should be going for the win, or as well in the last few minutes, in the last 10-15 minutes, when we have 1-goal lead, or we have just scored, we are very reluctant to go for the third, for the fourth, to kill off the game, not to give any opponent a chance. We much rather sit back, invite the pressure. And more than anything, despite Arsenal having this insane defense, as people say, right, rock solid, very hard to get chances, shots against, and everything, in the last 10-15 minutes, it feels like it completely disappears. We just panic. We don't know how to see the games out. We give them the ball, we invite the pressure, and when the ball goes into the box, we panic. There is nothing of that composure, of that coolness, calm-mindedness, cold-bloodedness, and everything that you see usually during the most of the game. And when it comes to crunch time, we are just way too nervy. And for a team who has this type of experience, right, it shows the lack of experience, ironically enough, of winning mentality. Because if players had that winning mentality and they had done it before, which they had chances, countless chances, they would know what to do, how to get the ball out, what to do in these type of situations. But since this team has not done it, they have always come up short for one reason or the other. There is definitely lack of composure in that regard, and it shows. It definitely shows, and it just doesn't show against the big teams. It quite heavily, and dare I say more, is being shown against the smaller teams, against the lesser teams, which we should be beating with our eyes closed. No disrespect to those teams, but we should be beating them. And somehow we just basically struggle, and it's a very nerve-wracking ending. And to a degree, we are very lucky and can count our blessings that we get the result that we needed. And that has been a very big story and the main plot, let's just put it that way, of Arsenal's chapter this season. Main storyline for Arsenal is that are lucky in so many instances that it has to run out at some point as well. You would totally expect that. Obviously, as people say, luck favors the strongest, right? But at the same time, we are doing this in a way where we are basically playing with destiny, with our own destiny. We are playing with fire. Let's just put it that way. And somehow we have managed to tame it, not without any scares or anything like that. But there have been quite a few. But we have managed to contain it and maintain it. Right now, it feels like the closer it gets to the end of the season, the less we can do it. And and that again is the nerves and experience of these type of situations. Even though we have been there, but there's a big difference of winning it and not being good enough and basically falling short. And the fact that Arsenal have fallen short so many times right now, back to back to back to back, I think the nerves and that little voice in the back of the head is definitely mentally affecting the team. That, oh, don't you dare screw this up again. You have been there multiple times. You might not get this chance next year. It could be Peakums, it could be curtains and everything. Everything could fall down and burst into flames and the walls could be tumbling down and all this stuff. I definitely believe this mental aspect, which I think is going to play a bigger role than actually players' physical abilities, the players' skill, the players' abilities in general. I think the mental aspect is going to play a bigger role than ever before at this end of the season. And we just have to wait and see if this team is mentally strong enough to basically withstand this pressure, withstand these issues, and overcome them. Because in the last few years, they have not. And we go again. We are back at the same. We have basically, like in childhood, right? Not like these days when you can auto-save your progress every single second. But back in the day, in the games, right? No lives, no saves. If you don't get to the level, if you don't go through the level, you have to start all over again. And that's what Arsenal is. And there is, for example, a specific task, a fight, a battle, where you constantly lose, right? You constantly lose, you try again, and you try again. And it feels like Arsenal are again back at that place where they constantly fail. The question is, have they learned from these mistakes? Have they devised a specific tactic how to overcome this issue? Because so far, it is not looking blissful with Arsenal, definitely. Big up, Cooper. Big up, big up, big up, big up, big up. Hope you're doing well. Smash the likes, people, if you haven't already, and subscribe if you are new. We are 2 subs away from 1,030. We are genuinely inching towards 1.03k. We've been sitting on 1,028 for the last month almost. So I hope we get past that very, very, very soon. It's very nice to see the community grow slowly but steadily together. Now, some other news and some other updates before the Brighton game, before we get into the starting 11 and all this stuff, of course, is about our skipper, our El Capitan, man like no-show guard, man like ghost guard, and all this stuff. We need to talk about him. Let's be real. But yeah, Mikel Arteta has spoken on him, and he has said that we will see. We have to wait and see how comfortable he is to do certain actions. Basically, he has said something without saying anything. Well, he has said nothing. Let's just put it that way. Because these certain actions could mean anything, literally, in the world. Can he run? Can he jump? Can he pass? Can he change directions quickly? Can he comb his hair? Can he blow his nose? Anything. Let's be real. And with Kai Havertz, we will have to wait and see if he's available. Ben White is not available. Now, the big question is, what the hell has happened to Ben White? Because man is now pulling a Tomiyasu at the end of the day, no matter how you look at it. It looks like that those 2-3 months when Ben White played on injections and everything, despite needing a surgery for those 3 months when Arteta basically made him play, is now costing him his, well, for lack of a better word, career at Arsenal. Let's be real. Because he is not constantly fit. He gets injured as soon as he comes back. And right now he is not available once again. And the biggest issue with that is that means that Timber has to play overtime, for lack of a better word, right? Which again will lead to Timber falling down at some point, whether it's been this game, next game, or in a week or in a month. But it's a very big possibility. And who we gonna play right back then? Mosquera? Norgard, as we did with Party? Like roll back the clock, or what? What we gonna do then? Because that right back spot and everything is a big question mark. And now on top of that, Calafiori is talking about potentially leaving. He wants to go back to Italy if it's possible and everything. And now at the end of the season, it's actually everything has turned upside down for some weird goddamn reason. Because when we went into the season, right, in the summer, I was sitting here and we were talking about the team, and I said that the position I'm most certain and the most I trust the most, and I look at the depth and I think, yeah, that's a good depth, was the defense. And throughout the whole season, it has been tested one way or the other. But now, come crunch time, the end of the season, it feels like the attack is okay. Well, not gameplay-wise, but injury-wise, more or less. Midfield is an issue, and defense is becoming even a bigger issue right now. And now we are in this spot where, well, basically, it's a double-edged sword. It's either or, one or the other, and we are in this spot where there feels like there is no solution. We will have to stick it out, see what happens, and pray that we get a positive outcome in the end. And that is all on Mikel Arteta due to sheer lack of rotation, sheer lack of player management, and everything. And it is a worry. For me, it's a massive worry. People most likely are going to overlook it. People are going to maybe read too much into it, talk that I'm toxic and negative about this stuff. But at the end of the day, that's how I feel. That's how I feel, and that's how it looks to me. And that's why I'm very, very, very worried at the moment. Very worried, to say the least. Right? So time only will tell. Now, let's no. What else is there? What else is there before we get into Brighton and everything, all this stuff, right? Before we get into everything regarding Arsenal and everything, right? Before about the Brighton game, right? There are quite a few stuff I want to talk about, right? But I don't know where to begin with. We could take it step by step, time after time, and we'll see where this leads us, right? Because I have four tweets, 4 quotes, or 4 messages, 4 news we can talk about and we will talk about. And these are big ones. These definitely are big ones. I'm going to tell you right now. First things first, we're going to talk about the Jesus himself, Gabriel Jesus. That's the first one. According to Italian media, Calcio Mercato and all these men, AC Milan apparently are ready to make major moves to sign Gabriel Jesus this summer. This is one of them, right? So for me, the question is, how much? At the end of the day, there is no other question you can ask, because even though Jesus feels like he could be a good rotational player, he could be very good on the wing, but we don't use him there. He definitely, the injuries have absolutely shredded his legs and his career at a very high level, unless somehow he gets properly managed. And it's very evident that under this manager, it is not possible. So for me, the big question is how much they are willing to offer. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be frank with you. How much they're willing to offer. Because for me, the worry is that with the big money, with all the big money, right, that Jesus is getting, 265 a week, 265 grand a week, by the way, he's getting, right? How much can we even get? Will he want to take a pay cut? Will he want to move? Will he want to leave and everything? Those are all the questions that need to be answered. Obviously, I trust Andrea Berta to do the job, to do the right job, to fix this mess and everything that Edu and Arteta have basically created. I trust all of that. Now, the thing is, how much? Let's just put it that way. How much? I need to find a video of Christian of AFTV saying Gabriel Jesus is the second coming of David Ginola. Like, you don't even need to find that. There are, I have done even a stream or video about this. I think it was a video. I did it 3 years ago. Well, not 3 years ago. This channel is not 3 years old. 2 years ago, something like that. A bit less than 2 years ago, where in summer, Arsenal players came out and said that Gabriel Jesus is top 5 striker in the world. Seriously, not even over exaggerating. There were articles about this and everything. Top 5 striker in the world. There are some of that stuff as well. Trust me. Like, it's actually kind of insane if you think about it. It is actually kind of insane. Now, something else I wanted to talk about, and this could be this could rub people the wrong way. I saw this today. Hopefully you can read it on the screen, right? This is what you see. On the left, and I'm gonna read off the names to you all. On the left, Cesc Fabregas, Yaya Toure, Santi Cazorla, Nemanja Matic, Eden Hazard, Jordan Henderson, Steven Zonzi, David Silva, Gareth Barry, and Christian Eriksen, right? That's the left column, which I read out to you right now. As you can see, there are mostly midfielders, attackers, number 10s, right? Number 10s, number 8s, or wingers. Well, basically attackers. Now, the right column, and this is going to blow your mind. The right column, Van Dijk, Lewis Dunk, Trevor Chalobah, Joachim Anderson, Elliot Anderson, Jean-Paul Van Hecke, Declan Rice, Esri Konsa, Marco Senesi, and William Saliba. 10 players on each column. And now I'm going to tell you what this image is all about. The left column is 2014, 2015, and the right column is this season. And these are players with the most passes in Premier League. Players with the most passes in Premier League. 1 decade apart. 2014, 2015, and 2026, 2025, 26. These are the players with the most passes in Premier League in those 2 specific seasons. Decade apart, and have you noticed that the column on the left has mostly attacking or basically number 8s, number 10s, or wingers? Column on the right has only defenders, center backs, by the way, except Elliot Anderson and Declan Rice. This is how far football has fallen. Seriously, this is how football has fallen, where defenders have more passes or are the biggest passers in the league over midfielders and forwards. Santi Cazorla would walk in the Arsenal team now. He was underrated. I would say he was up there with the best of the best. He was very underrated, in my opinion. You don't see players these days who match. You can see, maybe you can count on one hand's fingers the amount of players who could switch between left and right foot just like that. Santi Cazorla was a little magician on the pitch. It's just a shame that the injuries had to ruin his career and his legacy at Arsenal and in Premier League overall. Because that guy was something else. Serious talk. That guy was something else. Absolute baller. Wish there was a chance that we could get him at Arsenal still. Obviously, he's 40 years old almost. He plays for Real Oviedo, his boyhood club. He plays in La Liga, and this could be his last season. But Santi Cazorla was such an underrated player. Just a shame of the injuries. But this is how far football has fallen. First things first. Next one. And this is going to get even worse. Ruud Gullit. If you know who Ruud Gullit is, you actually have some proper ball knowledge. And I don't mean of FIFA or EAFC. I mean actually football, right? And here it is. This is what Ruud Gullit, one of the best midfielders actually I have seen, number 10, number 6, number 8, he could play everywhere. This is what Ruud Gullit had to say. I have decided to stop watching football. I don't enjoy our sport anymore. I watched Arsenal versus Chelsea, the game that was on the weekend. What an absolute garbage match of football. I see players trying to create corner kicks, trying to create throw ins. I see ball boys ready to give towels to the players. Football has become absolutely horrible. I hope that this is not the path we are heading at. I'm waiting for players who will take on defenders again, someone like Lamine Yamal. I am missing the joy. I just don't enjoy football anymore. Everyone is executing tasks on the pitch. Where are the players dribbling? Where are the players with balls? Why is everyone passing, 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 passing? And I could not agree with this statement from Ruud Gullit more. Genuinely could not agree more. Because this is absolute facts from top to bottom. And I'm going to be honest with you. There was a time, I would say long ago, but not so long ago, a year ago or a bit more, where I also wanted to stop watching football. And that was mostly because of Arsenal, ironically enough. And that's ironic because we were fighting for the title, we were nearly top of the table, we were in all the competitions. It was because of the football I was watching. Like 10, 15 years ago, I was watching Arsenal, of course. I was watching a bit more Premier League. It was very exciting. But I was watching La Liga, Serie A, all these leagues. They played proper football with dribbling, attacking, skills, trickery, some proper football, right? And that was what kept me in football. Let's just put it that way. Because if you are just exclusively watching Premier League, which I'm not gonna lie, I haven't had a chance to watch La Liga or Serie A or Bundesliga for about half a year almost. Like I watch games on occasion and I catch highlights, but I don't have time to watch the games, right? I, in general, don't have time to watch much football in the last few months, just due to life circumstances. That's a different story. But you definitely could tell that football is dying to a degree. It feels like that. Definitely feels like that. And what Ruud Gullit said here definitely spoke to me to a very, very deep level. Because I'm not gonna lie, this is how I feel. I'm not gonna stop watching football though. I'm gonna watch football. I'm gonna pay more attention to other leagues and everything. But 100% football is just garbage. Just like he said, that Chelsea versus Arsenal match, absolute garbage. Nothing. Players play for corners, throw-ins, and everything, just like he said. No trickery, no skills, no dribbling, no nothing. That's why Lamine Yamal feels exciting to watch. That's why people speak about Lamine Yamal so much. Because he does what others don't. Players like Yamal these days is like a dyed art form. It's like something out of the blue. It's like a breath of fresh air. Hence why people speak about Lamine Yamal so much. You don't see that these days from other players. Pretty much at all. Big up, Hendon. Big up, Hendon. Hope you're doing well today. Hope you are doing well today, brother. And people, don't forget to like and subscribe if you have not already as well. But yeah, this from me definitely, this quote spoke deeply to me. Let's just put it that way. And the last thing I wanted to talk about before we get into the before we get into the Brighton game for Arsenal is this. Rodrigo from Real Madrid. Remember how much he was linked with us last summer? Many Arsenal fans wanted him, many Arsenal fans didn't want him. But right now, it looks like it's not going to happen. It's such a shame to see him get injured, but Rodrigo has torn, apparently, his ACL and will be out for the next 6 to 7 months. He is now expected to miss the World Cup with Brazil, It's a big loss for Real Madrid. They definitely need him. They're playing garbage football. How they lost to Getafe yesterday, that was embarrassment and a half, to say the least. Surprised that Beloa is not sacked yet, to be honest. But we are not going to get into that. But yeah, Rodrigo, I guess if he was on Arsenal's radar, definitely he will not be anymore. Let's just put it that way. Definitely. Let's just say that. Big up, Roy. Big up. West Ham announces losses of 104 million for last season. They are paying 21 million in interest payments a year, having borrowed on future TV revenue as season ticket sales. Yeah, West Ham are in serious financial troubles. And if they go down in Championship, it's going to get worse. It's going to get tenfold worse, 10 times worse. Although with the parachute payments and everything, maybe they can pay off all the debts. And basically, with the squad they have, obviously they will have to reduce some salaries because some players get insane money where they shouldn't. But if they can manage to get back up next year, they actually 1 year outside could be actually good for them. But it definitely, quite a few clubs are posting quite big losses, quite heavy losses. Arsenal, on the other hand, they are actually swimming nicely, ironically enough. Arsenal in this regard are swimming very, very, very nicely. Let's just put it that way. Where is this about Arsenal? Because there has to be somewhere this. Let me check. I want to see this because there is Arsenal finances as well. Arsenal post profits and everything. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Oh, here we go. Sky Sports. Sky Sports have posted this. Sky Sports have posted this. Basically, here it is. Arsenal profits loss are 1.4 million loss. Arsenal's overall revenue is 691 million euros, increase of 75.2 million. Absolutely insane numbers. Despite not winning anything, but just being in these competitions, Arsenal basically are breaking even. Let's be real. Just now, for me, the issue is that just imagine how big of the profit Arsenal could get if they actually won stuff. Because winning would bring more eyes, better deals, better TV revenue, better timing. That means better players, obviously bigger expenditure, but if you want to earn, you have to pay. And all this stuff. So it's actually quite insane. Like 24-25 season, Arsenal only 1.4 million loss. And if you look at other teams, Chelsea has 355 million loss. Liverpool has 8 million profit after tax, which is kind of nuts to think about. But I guess with all the sales and everything, despite spending 300, although next season could be different, right? Man United obviously have losses and everything. Interestingly enough, no City there and all this stuff. Hey, but yeah, Arsenal actually are swimming nicely despite not winning stuff. They are in very nice profits. Let's just put it that way. They are in very, 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 very nice profits, to say the least. And that is actually quite insane to think about. Because for me, if Arsenal actually would win, it would give them much, much more. Arsenal would get much, much more money, much, much more earnings in and everything. Because here it is. Here it is. Sky Sports article. Let's go over this. Arsenal in a healthy spot, but can they sell players better? And I think that is the biggest issue for Arsenal. The fact that they cannot sell players properly. If they could actually sell players properly, and I think with Andrea Berta, that is going to change. The biggest issue here is because all the wages and everything, Arsenal couldn't do anything. Edu couldn't do the job. Nobody could, right? But if they could sell properly, there would be no losses. There would be massive profits overall. Arsenal are certainly on the way up in terms of finances. They nearly broke even for the 24-25 season, recording a loss of just 1.4 million. That's literally what we pay to like 6 of our players in the team. Saka 300, Havertz 285, right? That's what, 600 almost already. Add Gabriel Jesus, that's nearly 900. That's over 900,000 already. Then you add some Odegaard and Rice and everything. You are at 1.4 million. That's literally 5 players. That's about it, given their losses sat over 100 million 4 years earlier. And I'm not going to lie, that is actually quite insane turnaround. In 4 years, Arsenal have managed to go from 100 million in losses to only 1.4 million losses, which means that next season, this season, if I'm talking about this season specifically, because this season stats are going to be posted obviously in about a year or so, Arsenal are going to be in profits, in actual profits after taxes and everything. That's how nuts how this has changed. And here it is. Big boost for Gunners was the club record revenue of 691 million. This is going to increase even more. This year is 140 years of Arsenal. There will be such merch drop, and it's going to disappear from the shelves so fast you cannot even imagine. As fashion and merchandise experts, Arsenal commercial revenue continued to fire, with nearly revenue rising by 19%. 19% increase in commercial revenues for Arsenal. Holy crap. Deloitte data says Arsenal commercial revenue has increased by a world football high of 104% since 2021. 104%! Nearly twice as much as the average commercial growth of the rest of the so-called Big Six. We are genuinely a fashion club and merchandise. Matchday revenue is also increased to 154 million, partly due to the men's team Champions League run to the semi-finals, which also impacted broadcast revenue that rose to 272 million. Holy crap! Genuinely. Given Arsenal are in the Carabao Cup final, the latter stage of FA Cup, have a nice route in European semi-finals, once again, that figure could well grow in the forthcoming campaign. And I fully expect that. I fully expect the revenue this season to grow so highly that next year, when we're going to look at this back again, Arsenal are going to be in profits after taxes. And I don't mean like 2-3 million in profits. I fully expect Arsenal to be in about 60-70 million profit, especially if we get to the finals of Champions League, if we win the Carabao Cup. The merch from Arsenal's 140-year celebration, everything, it's going to sell out. And it's going to post even bigger profits, especially if we sell players properly this summer. It's going to even add fuel to the fire in that regard. However, there's a downside to additional games, as Arsenal report a sharp increase in costs on the other operating. Well, obviously, more games, more costs. Like, that should go without saying. The more you play, the more you have to pay. With travels, with everything. That figure went up to 208 million, an increase of 80 million. And I fully understand that. There's a big difference if you, in Champions League, go out in quarterfinals, you go, not semifinals, you go to the semifinals of competitions, especially in Carabao Cup, where we usually go out in like third, fourth round. Last year, we went to semifinals. It's that I fully expect. Direct costs for delivering increased revenue, certain residual property matters, obviously. Last season also showed the power of Arsenal selling well. The 106 million in player sales, like seriously, that is just laughable. Only 106 million pure profit, homegrown stars with Emil Smith-Rowe and Eddie Nketiah brought a net spend of just 18 million. An overall net transfer debt of 125. That is fully expected. Arsenal cannot sell for shit. Hopefully, Andrea Berta, if you're watching this, hopefully you can improve on that. That last figure decreased massively from 2029, obviously, because we didn't sell anyone that season. Arsenal's wage bill rose by 19%. Obviously, new players, salary increases, contract extensions, that also is fully expected. A short climb than last year, but a loss of 15.2, that's nothing. Absolutely nothing. But with Arsenal set to renegotiate the Emirates Stadium catering deal this year, as well as the Emirates Shirts partnership in 2028, there are plenty of the revenue for increased income in the coming years. They are in a healthy spot. So Arsenal are going to make money hand over fist. Let's be real. They're going to be in the money. If either West Ham or Spurs get relegated, they will find the hard... Yeah, definitely. Championship arguably is one of the hardest teams to get out of. Hardest leagues. Big up Animal Shorts. Big up. Hope you're doing well today, bro. Sorry it took me such a long time to get to this. I'm scared of had a feeling versus Wolves, Brentford, Nottingham, and same one versus Brighton. Welbeck is on form, yeah. Game against Brighton. People mostly expect a proper game. They expect Arsenal to win. I expect Arsenal also to win, but I fully also expect Arsenal to struggle. I fully expect Arsenal to struggle in this game. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be pretty. This is one of those games which we tend to call as the fans banana peel games, where Arsenal definitely could slip up because it has happened before, and it's very, very hard to shake this PTSD feeling until Arsenal actually get it over the line. They figure stuff out. They finally get in the right mindset, the right zone mentally, and everything goes to the proper places. Like, definitely, it's gonna be a very, very tough challenge for Arsenal, no matter how you look at it. And I fully expect Arsenal to have a very tough game. Brighton as well. Depends what type of Brighton turns up, because you can get a Brighton that's gonna just knee down before you and fold, or you're gonna get Brighton that plays like prime Barcelona in 2009, or 2010 or 2009, right? You could get either or. You never know which type of Brighton you're gonna get as well on any given day. So it's going to be a very rough one. It's going to be a close one as well. But let's see. Let's see. It's going to be physical. It's going to be tough. We will have to grind it out to the maximum degree. And with Arsenal having these injury concerns, even though Declan Rice most likely is going to be good tomorrow, but he actually might play injured. He will be risked to get a bigger injury. Timber has no backups. Ben White is pulling a Tomiyasu right now, and Timber is definitely on the fringes of getting injured as well. He's in a massive red zone. He's getting closer to the dark zone than anything. And with players not performing, the defense being shaky at times, not being able to see out the game for the last 10-15 minutes, which is very confusing because I don't understand why, because we just give the ball away and invite the pressure, and that's why we basically cannot do anything for the last 10-15 minutes. We look very shaky. The attack not going for the third, fourth goal to kill off the games. There are lots of instances that need to improve. And this is another cup final for Arsenal. One of 9 cup finals in the Premier League Arsenal have left. The players must step up. There is no room for error. There are no rooms for lapses of judgment, no rooms for lapses of concentration. You just have to go out there and do the job and win, no matter what the cost. Let's just put it that way. But yeah, starting 11. I fully expect Raya to start because, well, there's no other way. I think the back line kind of picks itself, even though Timber is, again, edging towards the red zone. Again, it's a big worry, but it is what it is. William Saliba, Gabriel, and obviously for me, Hincapié, because Hincapié has been fantastic for the last month or so. He's been on form. Hincapié is just a phenomenal one. With Calafiori not being out injured, Miles Lewis-Skelly not being given a chance and everything, he definitely has seized the opportunity. He has grabbed it. He has put his claws as deep as he can into it. He's holding on to it for his dear life. And if Arsenal don't sign Hincapié full-time, in this summer, they don't exercise the 45 million buy option. It's not even an obligation. It's just an option. I will be very shocked, and I'm not going to lie, I'm going to be very pissed off, to say the least, because Hincapié has been actually very good for us, quite great for us. He's one of the best players in his national team. He plays left back, center back. He always does the job. He's usually one of their best players as well, no matter how you look at it. So, yes, he's more defensive. He doesn't have as much attacking prowess, for example, compared to Calafiori and everything, but we need that. Let the attack worry about the attack maybe at times. But unfortunately, we can't do that because our attack is struggling heavily. Hence why Calafiori actually looks good when he goes forward, because he is like that extra attacker that we are actually missing. But if Arsenal actually, and in this instance, Mikel Arteta, gave his players the freedom, less micromanagement, and they actually could allow to have some free roam type of role, our attack would instantly come to life. It would liven up. It would become very free-flowing and fluid. But right now, it's just, well, as Ruud Gullit said, garbage. Let's just put it that way. Lack for a better word, garbage. Uh, Most like, I would actually want to play Norgard in this game, so I'm gonna take Zubimendi out. I'm very sorry, I jumped the gun on this one. Genuinely jumped the gun on this one. I want to take him out. I much rather see Norgard, to be honest. Norgard, just so Rice has to do less job on defense, less running. Let's just put it that way. Not Trezeguet, although at this stage, not even Trezeguet could do anything at Arsenal. Eberechi, Eze. Well, Saka is going to play, so might as well. Gyökeres up top. Although, no. I'm going to start Madueke. So, what about this 11 for tomorrow's game? People in the chat, what about this type of 11 for tomorrow's game? Would you be satisfied if you saw this type of 11 come out tomorrow? Or would you still want to see Bukayo Saka, Leandro Trossard maybe, Zubimendi instead of Norgard, maybe somebody else at right back, God knows who, Mosquera maybe, although I don't know. Would you be okay with this 11 tomorrow? Because I genuinely believe we need give Zubimendi a rest. He plays pretty much every single game in, game out. So I'm putting in there Norgard because Norgard, again, he came on for Declan Rice against Chelsea because Declan Rice asked himself to be subbed off. If he was not in that spot, if he didn't feel something, most likely Declan Rice would have played full 90, which means Norgard pretty much still would have 1 minute per game ratio because up until Chelsea game, Norgard had played 32 minutes. Yes, you heard that right. 32 minutes in 28 games for Arsenal in Premier League, which is basically a minute per game on average, which makes zero sense because he got sold to us by Top Gunners and some other media and all that crap in the summer that he's a sensible signing, he's Prem proven, he's the captain of Brighton, and he will play a massive role in Arsenal in the Premier League, right? So far, we've seen none of those four things because he just doesn't play it for Arsenal at all. Like, this is the nuts part. He plays in cups, he plays a bit more in Champions League, but in Premier League, he doesn't play pretty much at all. And you would think that with his parameters, his physicality, his abilities, he actually would play more. But no, he doesn't. Much rather to run Zubimendi into the ground, who, by the way, doesn't look like he's good enough at the moment. Zubimendi looks good when the team is ticking, when we're dominating the game, the possession, we are scoring goals, we are playing free-flowing football. Yes, Zubimendi then looks great. But as soon as you play against Zubimendi in high press, physical, straight into the bone, shoulder to shoulder type of football, he disappears. He gets barged off the ball. He panics. He misplaces simple 2-yard passes. He almost gave an own goal pretty much. He gave ball away to the opponents for a quick counter 3-on-2 as well. Like, Zubimendi is not it. People said he's an improvement on Thomas Partey. No, he isn't. Even though, yes, I'll admit, he has scored some crucial goals for Arsenal. He has a crucial assists. He has done some good things for Arsenal. There's no argument about that. But overall, as the main number 6 for Arsenal, personally, for me, he's not it. Just like Calafiori, to be honest. Calafiori as a rotational player is good. I don't mind that. As the main left back, as Arteta had envisioned when we just signed him, no chance in hell, personally. No chance in hell. So yeah, I'm very sorry if I touched somebody's feelings and rubbed someone the wrong way with what I just said, but that's just my thoughts. And this is my 11 for the game. This is my 11 for the game. David Raya in goal, Timber, Saliba, Gabriel, Hincapié at the back, Eze, Norgard, Rice midfield, Madueke, Gyökeres, and Martinelli up front. I think this team should be able to do the job without shadow of a doubt. It should be able to do the job. I'm going for 2-1 Arsenal win. At the moment, the way we play in the attack, the way we cannot see out games, the way we don't go for the killer goal, the third or fourth, I think Arsenal are going to win, but it's going to be a very tough, again, it's going to be rough, it's going to be a stink fest. It's going to be harambol once all over again. And it's going to be 2-1. How are we going to score, to be honest? They also have big question marks a tiny bit because the corners and everything against Louis Dunk, against Van Hecken and everything are not going to work. Verbruggen and everything, they have this worked out. Hertzler definitely is doing a very good job with Brighton in that regard. They will scout these instances. They will figure stuff out. And let's not forget, they have some good players to attack as well. They have very good counter-attacking possibilities with Mitoma, Pirot, Welbeck, of course, with Minte and everyone else. So definitely, it's going to be a very, very rough and tough game for Arsenal. I fully expect that, since it's also a midweek game. It's going to be a very, very close to call. And to be honest, I'm at the moment watching the results of the other Premier League games that are happening right now, right? Bournemouth-Brentford, 0-0, 65th minute. Everton just scored a second goal against Burnley, 2-0 in the 62nd minute. James Tarkowski and Dewsbury Hall has scored, right? Leeds versus Sunderland is still 0-0. It's actually kind of nuts. It genuinely is kind of nuts, to say the least. So we'll see how that's going to go, how that's going to impact everything. Wolves-Liverpool, 38 minutes in, still 0-0. Like, these midweek games are not as pretty as people expect. 100%. They're not as pretty as people would expect. So it's definitely a big question mark how this is going to go, how this is going to develop. But time only will tell. But I fully expect a very rough and tough game. Brighton are no joke. Brighton definitely are not a joke. And it's going to be very interesting to see. Even though Arsenal's record versus Brighton, actually, is not looking too bad. It's not looking too bad. I'm not going to lie. Arsenal versus Brighton in general record, it's not looking... Well, it's not great. I'm not going to lie. It's also not great because if you look at... Oh, for fuck's sake. Arsenal versus Brighton record, right? It's also not the best of ones. If you look at it. 19 games won, 7 drawn, 8 lost. That's what? 34 games played, 19 wins. So more above 50% win ratio, right? 7 games drawn out of 34. That's 20% games drawn. Also not great. And 30 or so percent games lost. Like, it's very average if you look at it from that perspective. And look, in 1930, look, the most wins, these are the last times we have played against Brighton, right? We beat them at home in the league 2-1. It was tough. It was rough. It wasn't pretty, but we got the job done. Holy crap. The game in League Cup, in Carabao Cup, 2-0 Arsenal win at the Emirates. If anyone remembers that game, in the first 15-20 minutes, Arsenal should have been 3-4-0 down. Pirot missed a chance. They missed chances left, right, and center. Raya was doing a foolishness and everything. It was all over the place, our defense, in the first few minutes. And we should have been 3-4-0 down. And we would not have come back. We definitely would not come back. I generally don't believe that this manager has the abilities and balls to do that. I still stand by the statement I made very long time ago, and I'm going to still stand by it, but that there is no chance in hell that Mikel Arteta could pull off the comeback 4-0 against Reading and to win 7-5 with the players at that disposal at the time that Arsene Wenger did. No chance in hell. And this is the case. And if you look even not so long ago, a year back, less than a year back, we drew twice against Brighton at home and away. So Brighton are no pushovers. Arsenal definitely struggle against Brighton. They are one of those teams that could be a massive banana peel for Arsenal no matter how you look at it. And I don't blame people who have bad feeling about this game. I have too. I said 2-1 Arsenal because I don't predict my team to lose. I just cannot. It's not in me. right? My heart is saying 2-1. My brain is saying 1-1. But I'm going with my heart because I'm an Arsenal fan, obviously. Many times I do that, and many times I have been burnt. So hopefully that does not change. Leeds have scored 1-0 against Sunderland. Rodon has scored. Stach's assist. Beautiful. My FPL is flying. Big up, coach. Big up, coach. Hope you're doing well. Hope life is treating you beautifully. But yeah, this Brighton game, definitely I have my worries. I have my worries about the midfield. I have my worries about the defense. I have definitely worries. Brighton 1-1 Arsenal, another stinkfest of cowardly football from Arteta. And I would not be surprised. And that is the big issue. I would not be surprised. But I still believe Arsenal are going to get it over the line. It's going to end 2-1 Arsenal, right? But if Arsenal draw this game specifically, right? If Arsenal draw this game, I'm going to tell you right now that we are on the same points as Man City. Because in my eyes, City are beating Crystal Palace, the game in hand they have. So at the moment, it's a 2-point gap, right? We're going to be on the same points as Man City if we draw this game at some point. I also would not be surprised that we absolutely just are drawn or something like that when we play Man City. Yeah, Wolves are 0-0 still. Wolves are still 0-0. 42 minutes in, yeah. Oh no, goal disallowed. Of F's sakes, man. Why? Goal disallowed offside. God damn it, Rodon. Oh, that's a pain. Defense is our biggest asset. I'm not gonna lie, for in the last 10-15 minutes of the game, our defense is just ass at the end of the day. Because the amount of pressure we are inviting, the amount of pressure we put ourselves under, and how defense panics and cannot cope with the simplest of crosses at times, gives me such big worries that it's very hard to watch sometimes Arsenal. Sometimes I just have to genuinely hide behind this chair and look through these two holes as a little boy who is scared of a scary movie at the end of the day. That's how I feel sometimes. That's how I look sometimes the last 5-10 minutes of the game, because Arsenal give away possession. They invite the pressure. They allow the team just to cross the ball. When the cross comes in, Arsenal do nothing with possession. They instantly hoof it out to the center of the pitch. Their center back picks up the ball, and they come back again. And all this time. Barcelona 2-0. Oh, damn. Like, for me, we talk 2-0 against Atletico Madrid. They're trying to come back from 4-0. I'm not going to lie. I was talking with my friend on work today, with my colleague who's a Liverpool fan. We were discussing this, and we said that Barcelona are going to win today. However, it's not going to be enough. We talked about this, and we basically came to a conclusion and to an agreement that Barcelona are going to win, but most likely it's going to be something like 3-1, something like that. They're going to concede, and that is going to cost them. So 2-0 right now at halftime. They're halfway there, but it's Diego Simeone, so you genuinely cannot just think that it's going to happen again. Yeah, Barcelona remontada. Lamine Yamal was talking about remontada all the time. Definitely, and it looks like it's happening. Fully. By the way, Hendon, did you see the quotes from Ruud Gullit? What he said about football? They move the ball, move fast, no Rice, even if he plays, he's so tired. Yeah, and he's actually half injured. I fully expect Rice to play to a degree. At the same time, I expect him to play on some painkillers, because unless you feel actually something, you usually don't ask to come off yourself. You're usually disappointed when the manager substitutes you, and you don't ask to come off yourself. And Declan Rice, and Arteta admitted that Declan Rice felt something and he asked to be subbed off. He went straight down the tunnel. Arteta says he feels better than he did yesterday, which is good, but at the same time, it's bad because he actually felt something that he had to recover from. And Arteta said, hopefully he feels better tomorrow. This is definitely not good. Didn't see what Gullit said. I'm going to show you because this is something that spoke to me very, very deeply just because of that. This is what Ruud Gullit said. Wait, let me zoom in properly so you people can see. Whoa, that went zoom just way too far. Basically, Ruud Gullit ripped into the current game of football and also Arsenal's game. I have decided to stop watching football. I don't enjoy our sport anymore. I watched Arsenal versus Chelsea. What an absolute garbage match of football. I see players trying to create corner kicks, trying to create throw ins. I see ball boys ready to give towels to the players. Football has become absolutely horrible. I hope that this is not the path we are heading at. I'm waiting for players who will take on defenders again, someone like Lamine Yamal. Ironic that we just talked about him. I am missing the joy. I just don't enjoy football anymore. Everyone is executing tasks on the pitch. Where are the dribbling? Where are the players dribbling? Where are the players with balls? Why is everyone passing, 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 and again passing? And that pretty much describes Arsenal to a T. Let's be real. Exactly. Gullit is spot on. Exactly. And I don't blame him. Missed the old days ballers. Like, yeah, I miss those days. I miss Riquelme. I miss someone like Ginola. I miss someone like Prime Eden Hazard in Premier League. Prime Alexis Sanchez. Come on. Pauletta, Di Natale, Milito, Pato, El Sharawi when he just burst onto the scene as well. Like, there are lots of ballers. These days, it's just insane. Like, it feels like it's a dying art form. That's why Lamine Yamal looks like a breath of fresh air. That's why he looks so insane. Because he actually plays like one of those old school players. Do you think Odegaard will be thrown in the lineup, and why does he play Eze on the left? I think Odegaard is not going to be thrown in the lineup. I think Eze is going to start in the 10. I still believe so. Like Ronaldinho, JJ Okocha as well. Great examples. Like, absolutely fantastic ones. Like, absolutely. Joe Cole as well. Let's be real. Joe Cole was very good. Very to a degree underrated. Like, let's be real. Like, there are lots of these ballers from every single league. Jean-Pierre Papin, if you remember. And everything. Like, there was some fantastic Gilly. Like, there were many fantastic players. It's just a shame that football has not evolved, but devolved in such a way that it's very, very painful to watch. Yeah, El Nino at Liverpool. Yeah, El Nino at Liverpool. Remember David Villa? Oh my God. David Silva at Valencia. If you remember as well, if you remember football from like late 90s, early 2000s, Deportivo La Coruña, right? Deportivo La Coruña, who was Carlos Valerón, sorry, and everything. That number 10 just, like, it was such a pleasure and joy to watch these type of guys. And these days just, what isn't helping is that players play too many games, and the games, yeah, exactly. Fans are being saturated with football coverage. 100%. Football fans are being saturated to a big degree. Too many games, too many competitions. I get that league competitions and club competitions, but who the hell needs this Nations League, for example, in club football? All these friendlies for no apparent reason. I get that you need friendlies, by the way, just to figure out the players and everything. But how about you basically don't just make maybe a tournament, right? Let's just say month-long tournament. That's it. So the players can have a season with no interruptions. They can do the thing. If you want to put a week's break somewhere mid-season, do it. Let them rest. Let them recover. Let them increase their energy, strength, and everything, mentally recharge and everything, so they can go again. Why not do something like that? But no, you need to have 3 games a week. Then you go international break. In span of 10 days, you play 2 games. God forbid you have to travel. 1 game is in Brazil. Other one is, I don't know, South Africa. Then you travel back to England, for example. Then again, you have 3 games a week and all this stuff. 2 weeks, 3 weeks pass. Again, you have to travel to Argentina. Then you have to travel to Kazakhstan. Then you travel back to your club. Then again, 3-4 games a week and it's just insane. Okay, I keep telling it's a good example of the PR has made certain players so hyped, still a great stat, man, but technically he ain't up there. He can't be mentioned with Hazard or Mahrez. Yeah, technically, definitely. Salah has his moments, but fully, if you look just from technical aspect, like dribbling skills, Salah is not it. Salah has stats, he has great finishing, right? But overall, he can't touch many like that, definitely. As somebody that attended matches from late 70s till around 20, I can also remember plenty of dead boring games too. It's just they weren't shown live on TV. Oh, obviously. For me personally, the way Arsenal are playing, have played throughout the season, right? They should be playing only like that right now, because they need to play like they have to play for the title. They have something on the line. But we have been playing like that the whole goddamn season, like it's something in there. Sounds like life. You gotta work for that cash. Yeah, Ben White vibe. Yeah, Ben White is pulling a Tomiyasu. He's just lying in hospital counting money. Would say the same even when Cristiano Ronaldo nowhere near Brazil. Phenomenal Messi. Yeah. Like it's insane. Like, but at the end of the players are even complaining about that. Like they get paid 300-400 grand a week, many of these players, and even they are saying that there are too many games. Like there is something to it, because it's not normal to a degree. I understand why it's happening, how this is happening. They get paid a lot of money and all that crap. I totally understand. But at the end of the day, health above everything, because that money doesn't help you much if you're, let's just say, 45 and you basically don't have a knee or something like that. And like it's for me, it's just weird at times. Like it is what it is, I guess. It is what it is. That's how modern day football is and everything. People want to make money, TV revenues, deals. Everyone wants to go everywhere. Everyone wants to play for everyone and all this stuff. It's actually not nuts. But yeah, people, I genuinely think what I think. I don't think, actually. I think. Yeah. I think. Who's the top 3 most skillful players currently? At the moment? Lamine Yamal? Riyad Mahrez? Even Rafinha? There are too many to even call. There are quite a few. There is obviously Ryan Cherky, 100% in my opinion. There are quite a few of those. On top of my head, those 4, without shadow of a doubt. On top of my head, those 4. Let's just put it that way. Just for lack of a better word. So yeah, we'll see. Do you think we'll see a really, really poor Rice, and when will he? I think there's a big issue with this, that we could see a very poor Rice, and he won't get draw, but he will get injured. I definitely can see that. Yeah, so good, actually quite good that they didn't get to him. Mark Rogers, yeah, but not to the same extent, in my opinion. Definitely. But yeah, people, on that note, I'm gonna end today's stream. We'll see what happens tomorrow, because tomorrow I might actually not be alive since Arsenal play, obviously. But I might be on Rashid's stream. Rashid, the level-headed Arsenal fan. If you know Rashid, you know. I might be on that stream tomorrow, depending on the time. I have talked to him. He has invited me, so I'm going to try my best to make on that stream. So yeah, for today, like the video, like the stream, subscribe if you're new, and see you soon. Peace.